Hi everyone. I've been going through a personal process which I have been explaining to people that I've spoken to as imposter syndrome. And I can only describe this as going through a process where I put out certain episodes of the podcast which were received very, very well. But due to restrictions in my movement because of COVID-19 and other technical problems, I wasn't able to put out more podcasts as often as I would like. What that then in turn did was created a scenario where I started second guessing myself and questioning myself and going through a process of internalizing insecurities around why do you think anybody wants to hear your podcast? Why do you think that anybody gives a damn about what you have to say about this topic? Your podcast isn't even that good. And going through a process of feeling as if I'm presenting something to the world that, given minimal scrutiny, I'll be found out to be a complete fraud. And I think we live that. We live that tension regardless of what situation you're in, regardless of whether you're in the arts, whether you're in business, whatever field or whatever it is that you're doing. No matter how good you do get at something or how often you do it, I think to varying degrees at one point or another, you deal with internal insecurity about whether I'm good enough or I am enough to do something. And it's a process. And I only chose to share that because I don't think that I'm the only person that's ever gone through that. I think that we all go through it from time to time, regardless of what our areas are or what our fields are. And I just thought that in keeping with the entire premise of this podcast, to be honest and open about this process, and really to also just ask for advice from people on how you deal with that, how you deal with, never mind what negativity might come from outside, but internally, how you get out of the space of saying, I'm going to present this to the world with the confidence that I know what I'm doing and I know what I'm talking about, while still being nervous, but not being at the expense of putting it out there and actually producing the product or the content or the presentation or whatever it may be. So with that being said, thank you all for listening. A very, very special thank you to everybody who reaches out on my different social medias, primarily Twitter. Thank you to everybody that listens. Thank you to everybody that reaches out with their own opinions. I can't name you all, but I've got a few things that I'm working on coming up where be able to hear some of the voices and opinions of the people that are listening to this podcast as well, because it was all supposed to be a conversation amongst all of us. So thank you again for your time, and let's get into it.